I bought this PS1 from my local game store. They don't know what's wrong with it, and I figured I'd try to learn how to fix one. So when I tested this, the video output didn't exist. It does emit audio, but that's about it. It also sounds like the disk drive just ain't feeling it. Holy cow. I must be using the wrong bit, because the right bit would never treat me that way. Oh my gosh. I don't know what this is screwed into, but... oh, man. This thing is stubborn. I didn't even know that... oh man. I didn't even know they made the PS1 until like a week ago when my buddy was telling me about it. I knew about the PlayStation. I had one of the original PlayStations, but I never saw one of these. Are these supposed to be this difficult to get out? I'm out of breath, guys. Do I go straight through the warranty seal, or do I try to make it all pretty and... oops, how'd that happen? Okay, so that is definitely not how we're supposed to do that. Oopsie. I do see a little bit of, yeah, there. I feel like this is supposed to be secured down in place by more than just this piece of tape, that is. So I gotta get this little 4-pin connector. Okay, and then it doesn't look like this ribbon cable is held in by a gate. Is this a pull tab? What is this thing? Let's get down to our video output. I need this screw to finish coming out. I should have peeled the warranty sticker. Look, I'm learning, okay? If you want somebody that does something right, this is not the channel for you. Okay. So what's stopping my video output? My solder joints all look solid. So sometimes if the solder is really cold, these legs won't make contact unless it's in just the right position. But that's not our case here. We're gonna start off with the Miracle fluid, and I'm just gonna take some IPA. I'm gonna clean the board first, because there's just some gunk that I don't need in my way. Next thing I want to do is I just want to make sure that this guy's clean. So again, IPA. I like this nice smooth PCB on this side. So here's our water damage, liquid damage. I think these VOs are fine. Yeah. Let's dry this a bit. Yeah, these look okay. So what I want to do now is I just want to try plugging this thing in and see what happens. I'm getting the exact same issue. It starts to boot, I get audio, but I never get any video. Do I see any clear culprits in here? And I don't see any gunk coming from my capacitors. This is at that age that if a recap is the answer, that makes sense to me. What else should I be looking at? I've got two of these with the exact same issue, so I can't even use one for parts on the other one, I don't think. All right, time to go to Google. Okay, I looked at a bunch of videos and I didn't learn anything. All right, I'm gonna test this again. I'm getting a new issue. So now we get power, which is cool, but our TV does this. I just bought this TV for $10 at Goodwill, so I don't even know if the TV works. Right. I'm gonna do more troubleshooting. Okay, so I've spent quite a while poking this everywhere that I can think to and didn't find anything. So I reached out to my elementary school nurse, and she told me that oftentimes what goes wrong are these two capacitors right here. So these actually control the video output, and that would make a lot of sense. So I'm gonna remove these two guys and replace them with, I don't know what I'm gonna replace them with. I'm going to replace them with some 220 microfarad capacitors, which are 10 volts. There we go. I'm going to replace them with these. These might look different than what's on there. These are actually called through-hole or throughput, or I don't know. They're different. They go through the board. These rest on top of the board. These are called SMD or surface-mounted capacitors. I don't have any of those. I have some on the way, so this will be more satisfying for you guys in the future. But for today, I have these, and we'll use those. So first thing I need to do is I need to remove the old capacitors from the board. So let me get this guy mounted. These are the two capacitors that have got to go. And if you want, you can replace this one at the same time. I don't see a reason for me to do so. This controls the sound output. My sound sounds. So I'm going to leave that alone, but I'm definitely going to get these guys taken out. I'm also going to get my fume extractor. Fume extracting. Because I like to use entirely too much flux. To remove these, I just used a medium-sized tip on my soldering iron and just an insane amount of flux. And then I would kind of like work it one end and then pull the other end and just kind of do that real slow back and forth. If you try to rush this, you'll rip a trace right off the board or a pad. And I didn't want to do that because I can't fix that if I do it because I'm not very good. And the solder, as you can see here, actually runs underneath these pads. So it did take quite a while. Once I was happy enough with that, though, it was time to move on to cleaning and to remind you guys that if you haven't already and you're enjoying the content, you should subscribe. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to clean up this mess. This is a mixture of flux plus things that leaked out of these capacitors, and I can't have that staying on the board. So I'm just going to take a cotton swab with some isopropyl alcohol and rub around these pads a bit. And this stuff will just clean right off. Maybe I'll do something about all that solder right there. Oh man, did I bridge pins right there? I might have. I might have made a much larger mess than I realized. Yep. All right, we're just going to heat up our iron a bit and try to get some of this excess solder mess that I made cleaned up. So what I've done is I've removed the solder from my iron, and that just makes it so that any solder that touches my iron wants to go to it. There we go. Now that I sort of cleaned up my previous mess, I'm gonna make a new one. So first I'm just applying some fresh solder to the pads to make sure that I have good adhesion with the new capacitors. Then it kind of took me a while to figure out where they were supposed to go, how to get the legs just right. I feel like this probably could have been done better by making one of them go the opposite direction, but we were able to get them in there in the end. The other thing I would call out here is that left capacitor. You probably need a little bit more solder on its right leg. That could totally come out with some pressure. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the legs off of these guys. I don't need these legs that are running for miles. So I'm going to grab some dikes and do that. This bit's probably an unnecessary step, but I mean, I'm in here anyways, right? So I might as well kind of clean up after myself. I'm going to clean up my mess with a toothbrush. Now we're good to reassemble this guy. Let's see how that goes for us. Yep. So it really helps if you drop it whenever you're done working on it. You want to remind the console what happens anytime you have to open it up, right? So if it thinks that it can just break and there's no consequence, then it'll break as it likes. But if you come in and you slap it around a bit here and there, well, that changes things, doesn't it? Oh, that's so loud. All right, let's see if it can read a game. We've got the greatest game ever created. We've got Pooh's party game. Oh no. Let me see if the disc spins when it thinks this is closed. That's not good. It starts. It's probably another bad capacitor, right? Okay, I'm gonna do more research. Got a list of things to check. What is with these screws? All right, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if the game reads if I just hold this down myself. So I'm gonna do that. Same result even when I held that down. So we know that that guy's fine. Okay, so the next thing it could be is something to do with the spindle height. Now it could be a capacitor issue. So I think this is the potentiometer that people say you can use to adjust the strength going to the laser, which could be a problem. But if you have to do that, I'm pretty sure your laser is already dead anyways, right? So that's probably not the move. I did some more reading online and found an iFixit thread where somebody said when your PlayStation won't read discs, there's a specific capacitor it could be. So we're gonna try our luck with that. The capacitor I'm looking for is C705, which is this guy right here. If I read that correctly, it should be 47, yep, that's it. Cool, so I gotta replace this tiny guy. You guys have seen this already, so we're just gonna speed run it. But this one is a little bit different in the fact that the capacitor was actually quite a bit smaller, so I needed to take a lot more time with it. And the left post was, I guess, a really large ground pad or something. It was really difficult to get it hot enough. So I kind of burned the board a little bit, I think, while trying to get it warm enough. But I mean, it took probably 3 times longer than the other capacitors did just because of how difficult that side was. That being said, looks like it worked out just fine. All right, I think that'll be fine. Honestly, I'm not sure. And let's clean up our mess. Now we are good to reassemble them and see if that did anything. Is that capacitor too high? That capacitor is too high. That's what we were worried about. So I need to bend him more. Ooh, I don't want to rip a trace off the board. Please tell me I'm not foreshadowing. Is that gonna work for me? Better, but I still don't think that's gonna be good enough. Can I live with that? Sure. Let me see if it actually reassembles and then I'll decide. Yeah, so I mean, to properly test this, I do need screws in. Whether I like that or not. Which I don't. I don't like it. These screws are a nightmare, man. It's doing the exact same thing. Let's see what happens when I press this. Oh, I don't even see the laser. I've decided it's definitely the disk drive that's just bad, and the motherboard's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and play with the potentiometer for the laser, which sounds so much cooler than anything I'm actually gonna do. That might be the most technical sounding thing I've said. Whoever decided the screws needed to feel this way, Bro, I hope they get hate mail. I hope their life is like just consistently a little inconvenient. I mean, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. Like anytime they go to the movie theater, like the middle seats are always taken. And like the only good spots left are like right up by the screen. That wouldn't like hurt my feelings though if like their life just like kinda sucks. This thing right here is called a potentiometer. What does it do, Matthew? This is called a potentiometer. This is what controls how much power is able to get to the laser. We can test the potentiometer to see what it's currently at. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my voltage meter set to continuity, and I'm gonna see what the resistance is from one solder point to the other. So this will tell us what the resistance is. We're looking for something that's between 1 and 2,000 ohms. There's no resistance, which doesn't really make sense to me. Did somebody turn this all the way down, totally fry the laser, and now I'm stuck with a laser that's just permadead. Anyways, if you take a screwdriver, you can turn this and that's how you adjust it. It looks like mine may not even have that option. Typically you just do like a quarter turn at a time, but apparently that's not the case. Let's try it like there. Let's see if maybe that's the, maybe now it's gonna. Look, I turned it a little bit, so let's just see what happens. I mean, I don't know how much I turned it. Oh, if I turned it in the right direction? Previously, I couldn't see the laser at all. Yeah, so the answer is without a doubt just to go ahead and replace the disc reader. So I've got one, it should be delivered today. I'm really bummed. I really didn't want to replace that. I wanted to find out exactly what's wrong with it and repair it, but I do not have the ability to do that. Now, if you're watching this and you know what's wrong or you have some ideas, I'm not throwing the disk drive away. So I'll test it again, I'll try more repairs. And I've got another PS1 that's got the exact same issue. So we can try some stuff. I got the replacement disk drive in, so we're good to go ahead and do that now. I also realized I've only tested this with Winnie the Pooh, and brother doesn't look like he's doing too hot. So maybe I'm an idiot. Because I don't know if Winnie the Pooh works. I picked that up at Goodwill for like $2. So, okay. And then, brother, what? Why is this so ugly? Oh, you buy aftermarket parts, you get aftermarket parts. Why is this not correct? Am I a fool and the entire housing is different? It totally is. It's got these little legs here that the other guy doesn't have. Are you married to that? Or do these come out? Very much married. What can I do here? I could cut this off. That's like actually a very real and reasonable choice. Are these identical aside from that? These are identical aside from that. So I really just want the gray cover on this guy. I don't know if y'all could hear everything that happened after I cut that off, but it went for a while. Why are we like this? So I rest this guy. And his tail hits this pad. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to see the tail hit the pad. Oh, but this tail is longer, ain't it? Is that a concerning amount of wobble? I suppose I'll be finding out. No matter what, this needs to come off, so I'm gonna do that now. Don't worry about this ribbon cable. It'll work itself out. Oh no. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So now the potentiometer can exist. I can't have him getting in the way of the motor, so I can't tuck him under. That is definitely not gonna make a bunch of annoying sounds. Something like this. Nope, not quite. I don't want this touching that. Okay. What happens? I turn them on. Yeah. Yes! Oh, it's so loud. I will be changing all the capacitors on this to surface-mounted capacitors. If that's the type of thing that you guys would be interested in seeing, let me know in the comments below and I'll bring you along for that ride. Otherwise, I'll just do it on my own time. It won't be very interesting content. It's gonna be me removing capacitors and putting new ones back on for probably a very long time. And then, I mentioned it earlier, but this is actually just for my personal collection so that I can play PS1 games. So if you guys would be interested in seeing any mods, let me know in the comment section below and maybe we can mod it together. At the very least, I'm gonna put a custom shell on this because I think it would look cool and I'm like 12 at heart, so you can't stop me. Boom, done. Record time, all right? That wasn't record time. That actually took a really, really long time. That's gonna do it for this video though. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and if you'd like to see more content just like this one, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.